Hey, good afternoon. I wanted to go ahead and record this quick video and show you something that I found inside of the most recent release in my Notebook LM account from Google. If you don't know, Notebook LM is an incredible AI tool that Google has actually developed that allows you to do all kinds of amazing things. It lets you create a notebook, upload sources into that notebook. They could be links to websites, they could be PDF documentations, it could be text files, all kinds of different things that you can actually load into a notebook, which creates a workspace. That workspace is then built on top of the most advanced Google Gemini AI models that are out there. You can discuss the sources and the content that you've actually placed in there. Ask the model to go out and enrich those sources with additional research, including deep research type of tools, and pull in a lot of information to then create a number of different assets that you can use. Whether you're building a methodology to learn something new for yourself, you can learn a skill, discuss a book, discuss all kinds of different things with the model. And now what we're seeing happen is that the model will proactively generate the assets that are available for you instead of you having to go over and create a new prompt and create the buttons, which are admittedly already incredibly easy to use. But the way they've got it set up now, you're actually going to be able to get a lot more use out of this particular tool set, and I think do some really amazing things. So I'm going to run through a pretty short demo here. I promise I'm going to try to keep it concise, but I'm going to make a short demo and we'll use our own company and our own company website as an example of what's possible. And then I'm going to walk through a few different examples of how this might actually make sense inside of your business, right? So let's say, as a for instance, that we own a technology consulting company, which Foundari in many ways does a lot of consulting on technology. We also build many different kinds of solutions. We're a Zoho authorized partner. We do all kinds of different things for our clients, but really we're trying to reduce complexity and help leverage the most advanced technology in the world so that our clients can spend more time focusing on being authentically human, right? So let's say that you want to research a company and find out kind of more about who they are and what they're all about and what might be some good opportunities to engage with them and open up a dialogue around the sales cycle. So you can go into Notebook LM, you can create a new notebook, and what you're going to see here is the exact interface that you would see. Notebook LM is basically set up inside of this notebook or this workspace in three different sections. So you have the section on the left, which will allow you to load your sources into the model, into this workspace. You can also ask the model to do research and go online and find things, either fast research or deep research, to enhance a source, to build a source, to create a source, whatever it is, but to give the context and material to the model so that you then create some stuff. The middle section of this notebook, of this workspace, is the chat section. And this is where you can actually talk to the Gemini model. And again, it's the most advanced Gemini I think that's running today, one of them at any rate. And you can actually talk to the model about the sources that are there and continue to refine and dial in the material you want to use in order to generate some output, right? And then on the right side of this, you will see the studio component. And the studio component, in my estimation, is really where the magic happens, right? So the studio component, once you've loaded in your sources, once you've kind of had a discussion with the model about what it is you're trying to do, will actually allow you to create different assets and output them there saved, specifically based on the conversations you've had and the sources you've put into this thing, so that you can then use them as a sales tool, use them as a consulting tool, use them in a way that's going to allow you to move things forward, learn something, do something, whatever the case might be. And they have some presets that are there, so you can use this to create an audio overview, which creates, in essence, a two-person podcast. They call it the rundown, where you have two people that sound perfectly natural, that are going back and forth, having a discussion, dissecting the information from the content, from the sources you provided. Really, really fascinating take on kind of learning about something, about getting more insight into something. And again, underneath, it's the Gemini advanced AI models that Google has, which are amazing right now, and continue to get better really by the day. You can also create a video overview. So it will create an explainer video based upon the concepts, material, and information you have there. You can turn it into mind maps, a variety of different reports, flashcards to learn things, quizzes to learn things, infographics, slide decks, which is really, really next level, and then data tables. And then as those pieces of content, as those assets are generated in the studio here, you can then save them as sources that you can then utilize in this notebook or in other notebooks or in any other part of your business, of your life. So really, really powerful thing here that you can take advantage of. And it's available, the Pro version is available for the $20 AI Pro. I don't know exactly what the subscription is. AI Pro, it's $20 a month. And you get access to some of the most advanced AI technology that's available in the market today that can really help you to do all kinds of different things. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of what this looks like. So what I'm going to do, number one, is I'm going to go ahead and add a source, which is going to be the Foundari website, as the source. And we're going to use that as kind of the basis for the generation of some different content. You could put website URLs, you could put YouTube URLs. If it is a regular website or if it is a YouTube video or whatever the case might be, it's very friendly to do so. Some websites have anti-bot, anti-AI scraping or consumption protections in place. Probably can't do it. As always, comply with any kind of terms and conditions about utilizing this kind of technology. But just for our purpose for this illustration, I'm going to show you what it looks like when it actually reviews our website as a piece of content, and then we can look at it from there. We can use a different company that we have as well, and we can use two websites to kind of see what's going on with this, right? So then we're going to go ahead and insert these. As you can see from that little working model, it's going to go ahead and begin to visit it. It's going to begin to get an idea about what's going on, and now you can actually ask some questions in the middle. We're going to give this video or this notebook a quick title. I'm going to put Notebook LM Demo here, capability demo, so that we just have a little bit of a not untitled situation. And now we have two sources that have been fully consumed and fully reviewed by the Gemini model underneath. And you can see on the right side now, the studio window or the studio pane is now actually fully visible. On the left and right, sources and studio, you can minimize these so you can pop these windows open or close so that you can focus more on the chat in the middle. So if you really want to zone in on the discussion you might be having with the model, you can do that. And then what you can do is discuss and refine your sources in real time with the model. But before we do that, I want to show you that we can actually say, okay, look for new sources for this. And then you can search the web. You can connect a Google Drive account and search a Google Drive account. And then you can do a fast research or deep research. So we're going to go ahead and say, search the web for new sources, find out who the owners and principals of these two companies are. And so now what it's going to do, it's going to look at those websites, it's going to try to find out who are the owners, who are the managers, who are the principals, and it's going to find that information, and it's going to add that as a source that we can then utilize to further our discussion with the AI Gemini model underneath there, and then use it to actually create things, create better things. So this looks like it's actually kind of gone a little bit not in the direction I wanted. It looks like it is being very literal in the request. That happens sometimes. And that's on me. Of Foundari and not Foundari.com and not just bots.com are. So now we are specific in that request. So that's on me. That's not the model's fault. That's simply me not directing it to include the existing context when we're doing that. It may have been better for me to simply have that chat with the model. And now you can see here, it has found 7 sources that we can use and we can consider in the creation of this. So that's a client site. These are sources that we can use, and we can just say, okay, import all of them. And so now it's going to add those 7 sources, that other research that it went out and did online very quickly, as additional sources and additional context that we can actually use. So then if we're thinking about kind of what we're going to do with this, let's say that we want to go ahead and figure out who we're talking to. We want to figure out how it is that we want to make the approach to them. So then you can say here, the model will surface some suggested things, and then we can say, tell me about the founder's expertise and mission. But you can actually ask whatever question you want. This is a chat interface, much like ChatGPT, much like the normal Gemini experience, but now taking into all of the context and sources that are available to the model inside of this Notebook LM experience and workspace. It's going to go ahead and now answer the question to the best of its ability. So you can see it's going to have these little kind of cues as to what process or what step of its process it's in as it goes through here. And now we can see here that it's saying the founders of Foundari, public brand of NJB Intelligent Automation. That's true. Justin Angelson is me. Christine Knox is one of my business partners. Scott Litch is the other business partner. And so this is all pretty accurate. And then what you can do is you can say, okay, let's save this to a note. When you save it to a note, it becomes something then that can be used as a source and used as material to create different things on. So now we can say, okay, can you give me a presentation deck that provides insights for how my sales team might approach these business owners. Could or should approach this business and its owners. So now you're going to see it's going to analyze these files, and then if I understand kind of what's happening correctly, it's going to be a little bit more proactive, because normally what you would do is you would go over to this slide deck button that's inside of the studio and click on the slide deck, and it's actually going to go ahead and begin making that. But now with the newer release or the newer enhancements to it, as you can see on the right side of the screen, I didn't have to click that button. I didn't have to give any further instructions. I just said, please give me a presentation. And now you can see the message that comes back from the Gemini model is, I am generating a slide deck for your sales team right now. It'll cover strategic insights on Foundari's business model, their core values, and their status as a Zoho authorized partner, and how to effectively engage Justin, Christine, and Scott, which is my partners and I. But the bottom line is now that's already working. I didn't have to configure the prompt, which you can do if you click on the pencil edit icon inside of any of those studio asset buttons on the right hand side, those small cards or buttons, then you can configure your prompt based upon that and really dial in exactly what you want it to be. But now it's actually going through and doing that proactively without me having to go and execute that, quick button press on that asset. I thought that was really cool. It's a great quality of life thing that I did not see any public announcement that it does this. It's now something that the capabilities of these models in the Gemini family are able to deliver to this Notebook LM experience that I find really fascinating. And so just for grins and giggles, I'm going to say, thanks. Please go ahead and generate infographic, generate a matching infographic that basically gives us a visual profile of the business and its owners. And so now it's going to go through that same process. So it's going to understand the request that I've made. It knows the context within which we're talking. It has all that source material, and it is going to execute that same request and begin doing this without me clicking on that button, without me doing anything else. And now you can see generating an infographic based on 12 sources. And now you can see that working icon that's actually there. It's going to tell you a little bit about what it's doing. And then we're going to go ahead and pause this recording for a couple of minutes while it does this. It's not instantaneous, but the output is incredibly high quality. And so I haven't done anything to kind of ask the model to consider our brand styles or our brand guidelines in creating these kind of assets and collaterals. I really just wanted to demonstrate the capability, but you can absolutely provide a brand style guide in a PDF format, a company logo, if you want Notebook LM to then generate some really high quality assets for you to either use directly or to actually take into a different program, a different application, take into InDesign, take into the Adobe Creative Suite or whatever tool that you use, and then make further edits and modifications, and then have something that is totally customized all the way. But I'm going to pause the recording now, and we're going to come back in just a minute so that we actually have an opportunity to take a look at this output, take a look at what's been generated, because this is one of the most capable tools for building these kind of presentations, these kind of assets, and this kind of collateral in a very short period of time at a very high level, and then also give you a way and a place where you can learn and ask questions and really have the AI enhanced learning capabilities, AI enhanced research capabilities in one place where you're doing a lot of really cool stuff. So let me pause this video. We'll come back when these assets are actually done, take a look at them, and then we'll wrap it up and I'll let you get on with your day. So back in a sec. Okay, so the first piece is actually generated. The infographic is done generating. The slide presentation, the slide deck presentation is a more involved piece of content that's being created. But in the meantime, I wanted to go ahead and show you the infographic. So as these assets are generated inside the studio, they become available there. The working icon animation stops, and then you can click on them, and it'll actually display what it is that has been created. And so as you can see here, we can look at, zoom in on exactly what's been created. But this is, again, a company profile and a profile about the founders that I had asked the model to use an infographic to create, to basically give us a one-sheet profile of what these guys are. So Foundari, Fortune 500 digital capabilities for Main Street. In many respects, that is the ethos that we're trying to embody and trying to live. We want this technology to be democratized. We want people to have access to it inside their businesses and their lives so they can drive really, really great results across all these different things that used to be very tedious and very time consuming. And as you can see, one of the big issues with these kind of tools in the past is that the text was not consistently rendered in a correct way. As you can see now, they have almost completely solved that problem. And so it has taken all of those sources, all of those pieces of content, understood them, incorporated them, and actually put together something that is a pretty accurate representation of who we are. Main Street prices, tailored for small business growth, delivering integrated solutions. We want to unify things, integrate AI, automation, branding solutions, and then really making sure that we're specifically tailoring these things for small business growth, which is a big part of what we do. And then so the combined impact of our founding team, the amount of experience we have collectively, the amount of average hours saved doing kind of implementations. This isn't supposed to be a commercial. I just want to go ahead and showcase the capability. But this is actually really cool. And so you can zoom in on it, look at it. You can ask for revisions. You can say, hey, I need this to be changed a little bit. I don't like the way we're talking about this. Here's some pictures of the founders. Use actual pictures instead of these avatars. Whatever the case might be. So it is a very, very powerful tool you can use to rapidly generate collateral, rapidly generate teaching collateral, and get to a point where you better understand the material and the sources that you provide to the AI so that you can then engage in a more human, more authentic, and more informed engagement and relationship building process with your prospects from a sales point of view, with people that you're trying to train or teach or coach. So a lot of capabilities, a lot of possibilities, ultimately based upon what you are doing inside of your business or your life, your initiative, your role inside of a corporation or a company, whatever the case might be. This tool set can give you some pretty amazing superpowers that are really, really cool to see. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this recording again very quickly and let this slide deck finish generating. We'll take a quick look at that. Then we'll wrap up the video. If in the comments you want to drop any kind of questions, any kind of comments that you have about this presentation, if you found this useful, you found this helpful, fantastic. If there's something else that you would like us to do a video on, generally speaking, if it has to do with Zoho or AI, we're going to be making videos on a regular basis, posting them to our YouTube channel. Our marketing team is going to go ahead and clip them out and share them onto social media because this technology is world-changing. It can be life-changing, and we want to make sure that more people know about exactly what's possible with this kind of technology because it is pretty mind-blowing what kind of things we can do and what we can accomplish partnering with this AI tech. So back in a second. Okay, we're back. So the slide deck is now finished being created. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. And this is really, almost always, really, really impressive to me, what it is that's possible. When you click on it, it's going to go ahead and just open it up in a little preview window. You can scroll down from there and kind of see what's going on. It does a pretty damn good job at laying out the presentation. And if you were to feed it brand style guides at the beginning as a source, it will do a really good job at incorporating brand colors, a logo, font, all that stuff. It's really, really cool. So then you can go ahead and hit, start slideshow, and it's actually going to show it into a presentation mode. And so basically what I asked it to do is create a strategic account briefing for Foundari, as if we were the salespeople that are trying to target and go after Foundari to sell them some kind of product or service or engage in some kind of business relationship with them. Actionable intelligence and partnership place for engaging NJB Intelligent Automation's leadership team, which is kind of the parent company. So this is kind of taking all the sources that we have here and shows kind of what this is. So you can see here, we put the little graphic, the little outline of the shape of the state of Ohio there, because we are headquartered in Ohio, so that's kind of, spot on. And really kind of a summary of kind of what the purpose and goal for Foundari actually is, NJB actually is. So again, if you take a look at what this is doing, kind of these little blocks that are clicking together, not exactly puzzle pieces. I guess they could be labeled as puzzle pieces, but in many respects, that's a big part of what we do, right? And then here, it didn't have any pictures of us, didn't find them online maybe, and it didn't use the avatar, so it's just showing kind of these things here. Again, not perfect, but it certainly has gotten a lot of the heavy lifting done, so we could then take this into an InDesign. We could take this into a PowerPoint. We could take this into Zoho Show and actually finish this up and modify it very, very quickly. At least from an ideation standpoint, at the very least, that's kind of what's going on. So talking about me, leads technical architecture and automation. That's a big part of what I do. I also do quite a lot of the sales engineering as well. Approach Justin when pitching technical integrations, custom application builds, and advanced AI deployment. Primary target for software and platform level pitches. That's pretty accurate. Christine's our head of growth. So she handles relationships, partnerships, just saying what's the sales trigger for her, strategic partnership opportunities, marketing alignment, lead generation, integrate, new referral pro, yep. So that's all true. Scott, our head of creative, and he makes sure the brand is dialed in. Approach Scott regarding brand identity tools, user experience, and the visual system. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. We're a Zoho authorized partner. Anyways, I'm not gonna. This is just. I wanted to use us because we didn't have, some other things I felt confident doing a deep dive in without permission. But again, so now this says, okay, the newly launched partner referral program, immediate engagement catalyst. So yeah, I mean, that's true. That's a good thing. Here's information about it. When targeting Christine, lead with this. When targeting Justin, lead with this. When targeting Scott, lead with this. So a really, really high-end looking deck. It's starting point. And you can make it better by adding in, a source for your brand style guide. You can do stuff like this. But at any rate, I could talk about this stuff forever. I'm sure that you've already ascertained that from this video and maybe from the other ones. But the reality is I just want to make sure that as many people as possible know about the capabilities inside of the Google AI suite, especially with something like Notebook LM, because it really is a special product. And the capability of the underlying models are, best in class, truly state of the art. And the ability for you to create learning resources, to create tools to help you with sales or marketing or brainstorming or whatever it is, really, really incredible. And I want to make sure people know what's going on, know where they can access it. Notebook LM, highly recommended. I absolutely love this product. Thank you so much to the engineers and the really, really smart people at Google that are working with Gemini and working with their AI products in general. This is a really, really top-notch product and a top-notch experience. And if you're into AI at all, I highly recommend you use it. If you haven't gotten into artificial intelligence at all and you are currently using a paid Google Space account, I absolutely encourage you to dig in, to figure out what's included with your particular subscription, and to figure out how these tools can actually help you get more done in your life, in your business, make things better. So hope this helps. Feel free to leave any questions or comments in the comment section below this video, and have a fantastic day, fantastic weekend, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Thanks. Bye.